If I haven't looked at my 401k in a decade or more, what, if any, risk have I, either uh, averted the risk or what am I getting myself into by not staying on top of the 401k?
Well, it depends on the 10 years. These last 10 years have been pretty good market-wise. So, you would look at it and you probably would have more money in there than you thought. And person would probably, "Oh my God,
Yep.
I'm happy."
Yep. For sure. For
Yeah.
sure.
I didn't look at this thing for 10 years. And
Right.
so, but the person doesn't know why. They just know
Right.
they're happy and it's up and they're like, "Oh, good. Wow, I didn't think I had this much. My goodness, I was thinking, man, it's so bad." And then look at it.
Right.
So we had that happen a lot. Now, if this was 2009 and you go back 10 years and you hadn't looked at it for 10 years and you looked at it and all of a sudden you're like, "Oh my God, look like
Right.
last year I had a lot
Where
more."
did my money go?
Right.
What
The
happened?
bottom fell out a year ago,
Right.
sir, and you didn't see that.
Yeah. So it really depends on kind of the time horizon
Mm,
but it's something that people should look at, not to be the effect of it, really so that they're confronting it.
mhm.
Just so they don't have a back off on it. Just even just looking at their statement. You'll start to find sometimes 401k statements, they aren't what they seem. And years I'll
Mhm.
give you an example of that. They are not what they seem. So an example is years ago, you'd get your rate of return of the fund. I'm invested in this fund. What's my rate of return? That's what I want to know. I want to know how I'm doing. And then somewhere along the way, they changed it to something called your personal rate of return. Now,
Mm,
here's the difference. Personal rate of return sometimes includes your contributions. You add money into it because your return grew personally. But when you're thinking with return, you're not thinking with my money I added to it. You're thinking
right.
with how much the investment actually grew. So
Mhm.
because in 401ks you're adding money into it every month. So even if the investment was flat, your account still is higher because you were adding money to it every month. So if that
Mhm.
investment actually made no money, it would be masked by the fact that you added your contributions into it. And then the match and everything. So you're like, "Oh, this is good." So sometimes is masked. But if you're able to look at your statements, you start to gain more reality on it. So okay, so this says that. And here's another real life example of this. We had a client the other day. I was going and reviewing a statement with him from his retirement account from his previous job. So we're going over it, and he says, "It looks like this account is going to pay me X amount of dollars." And based on the amount he has in that account, I know that account is not going to pay him that amount of dollars. So I
Right.
said, so we're going over it. And I'm like, he said, "But I can't figure out how come they're going to pay me so much money from this account." And I explained to him, I said, "Oh, they're not going to pay you this much money from this account." He was thinking he was going to get something like $3,000 a month from this account.
Mhm.
And I said, "No, this account is only going to pay you about $400 a month."
Oh,
And
that's a
what that
big difference.
account did, here's the trick they did. They estimated his social security payment. They don't know what his social security payment is going to be. They estimated his social security payment and they added it there. So to him, it looked like this because it's on that statement. It looked like, and it says your payment, your monthly payment would be blah. And he said, "Oh my goodness, what if I would have retired thinking I'd be getting."
Anticipating.
Yes. So now he's factoring in Social Security because he looks on the Social Security website and he gets his estimated amount, and he looks at this and he gets this. And so it wasn't clear to him that he wasn't going to get this $3,000 a month from this account because he's like, I'm like, there's no way this account is going to pay $3,000 a month because it just didn't have the amount of money in there to do that.
Right.
And so sometimes when you start looking at your statements, you start to get more reality on what you have, what it's doing, what it is, and uh, and then you can really have the knowledge, responsibility, and control over that pool of money, and it makes it harder for somebody to take advantage of you.